Hello, everybody. My name is Rotgon. I'm an artist. I'm a designer. I'm a teacher. I'm an illustrator. And more importantly, today I get to teach you guys something really cool. So today I figured our mini lesson is going to involve something really cool. We're going to do just proportions. And I'm going to teach you guys how to use proportions to your advantage. Now, if you guys like to draw little chibi characters, if you guys like to draw little tiny humans like this, if you guys enjoy the act of drawing something simple and cute, this is going to be the lesson that you guys are going to want to save. Now, how do we start drawing things and learn how to make them bigger, smaller? How do we adjust to each individual style? And the way that I like to do it is not by measuring heads. No. I don't like measuring the head. Whenever I'm doing proportions, I like to measure the body. The body itself is the biggest component in your drawing. Unless you're doing like a little chibi character, most of the time, your character is going to be with their head a little smaller than their body and their legs coming out of the edges and their arms coming out of the sides. So if we understand that very basic principle, if we double this up, we end up with a character that has all the segments that we need. Ran out of space. Okay, so understanding that is one thing. So if you understand the concept of drawing the body first, it's going to help you immensely. Now, let's say that you wanted to draw that body, right? And a simple body from a box. But now you want it to make the head bigger. Well, if you think about it like a normal human, first, add the volume after you draw the other head. That way, whenever you're moving your head around, you actually have the proportions that you need for something of that size. Normally, if you draw something like that, that's big and clunky, it's going to be really hard for you to be able to move it over the structure that you have already built. So if you build the body first, and then you think about the inside like a normal human, like a mask, like one of those Disney characters, you know? Woohoo! I'm Mickey! Woohoo! So if you think about it like that, it becomes a little bit easier. Now, if you focus heavily on just drawing the body, if you divide the body into two parts instead of just one, now you have access to two sections that you can play with. Now you can draw your legs in one and your arms in the other. And then as you learn to just overlap some shapes, you will learn to move your character around in different positions. So we talked about overlapping shapes in the last video that we did. So if you guys did not catch the little overlapping shapes mini video, that was done yesterday. And if you guys want to, you guys can catch this, I believe, in my YouTube channel. So if we talked a little bit about overlapping shapes and how those overlapping shapes can help you understand how to draw your characters, different positions, different angles, different styles, different movement, right? So we talked a lot about overlapping shapes yesterday. But now we talk about proportions. So when we're talking about proportions, like I said, I like to keep it to the proportion of the body because the body is going to be more indicative of everything else. Those two shapes that you draw initially, like we divided this into two, those two overlapping shapes are always going to give you a nice balanced character. Okay, if you make this round at the bottom, you can come up with your hip bones really easy. And if you connect the top of your hip bones, you come up with your belly button. So those landmarks are really cool. And then you can use, again, draw little nubbies at first. Make sure that the nubbies look good. And then you double the nubbies. And you can double it up in any direction you want, right? Learning different positions is going to be from doing reference, observing people. You know, it's going to come with time. Observing people takes time. Making sure that you learn how to overlap your lines takes time, right? Little tiny overlapping lines, minuscule, can generate a lot of depth. So making sure that each line has a purpose is very important. Making that line overlap differently provides a different level of depth. Okay? Little overlaps happen throughout the whole body. Little tiny baby ones. Okay? And those are the ones that help us indicate the direction of our arms, the direction of our fingers, you know, even the direction of our necks by drawing little overlapping lines. Eventually, you get to the point where you can draw these from two simple shapes. So the two shapes that you choose are going to determine the character traits that you have. If you draw a really big upper body, guess what? You're going to get a dude like Johnny Bravo. Like, hey, ladies, how you doing? All right? If you draw a really big upper body, you're going to get a superhero-ish, Johnny Bravo-ish, like a looking dude, you know? Like a big frat boy. Then if you draw the upper body, the lower body smaller, guess what happens? You just get curvier lines, so you can draw things like pin-ups and stuff like that a little easier. So understanding the power of each one of them and how you can actually manipulate them to do whatever you want is going to help you understand that. Proportions should be kept roughly, I don't know. It can be really two shapes that just overlap. And the reason that you need to overlap in the circle in the bottom is so that you can come up with your hip bones easy. So if you have a circle, you just follow the circle and then you have your hip bones. Once you find that circle, you can move your legs in any direction you want. So that's the reason that we find those little circles. And the circle on the bottom gives us two circles, and then those circles can be used to draw anything back to them, and then we can come up with all the poses that we want. Yeah. Same thing with the arms, by the way. So understanding that is kind of cool. Now then we like to do examples, right? So if you wanted to draw a character with one simple body shape, I'd call it a one body, like a one shaped body. Just make a little square or a circle. You can divide it into three and then take the two on the sides. Those become your legs. And this is also going to be the spacing for your head. So if you divide an element into three, you have yourself a structure for a body. Boom, boom, boom. Dun, 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 dun. So you don't have to really struggle too much to find the legs and the position of them if you just learn that. Right? Any shape you draw, if you divide it into three, you're going to have two sides, and those sides can be the legs. And those sides could also be the arms. Ta-da! So understanding that at one stage one, just drawing a simple shape and dividing it into three gives you a lot of maneuverability. Now, if you want to learn to draw bendy bodies, you need to be able to overlap two shapes. Two shapes will give you the ability to do that same thing, divide it into three, and you have your legs. have one, and then you have the middle, and then you have your other one. Whee! And again, once you find the little connecting points, you can change the direction of the legs if you have enough knowledge about perspective. So you can make your running poses, you can make anything you want. So that is going to be your little mini lesson on proportions. If you have issues with bodies, make sure that you overlap two shapes. If you want a more feminine one, you make the bottom one a little bigger. And then you get more feminine shapes. Okay? If you go with the upper body more, you get more masculine shapes. Okie dokie. So keep that in mind. That's going to be your mini lesson from today. Rodgon Academy is coming in October. So keep your eyes out for that. If you guys want to do the whole sign up list thing, you guys can go and sign up in my Instagram bio. There's a little thing that you guys can go. And until then, take care. Love y'all. See you guys soon. And hope you guys learned something. Bye.